Hi, everybody. Welcome to Story Station. This is Sandy from Words Alive, and I'm excited to read a book to you. It's called A House is a House for Me, and it's written by Mary Ann Hoberman and illustrated by Betty Frazier. It has a lot of things on the cover. What kind of house do you live in? Do you think they're going to all the different houses these people live in? I wonder if there's different kinds of houses for different kinds of people or animals. So let's get our bodies ready. Get your eyes wide open so you can see the beautiful illustrations. And let's see if you can help read the title with me in just a minute. Get your ears volume way up so you can hear everything the author has to say about houses. And turn on your voice box so you can respond and tell me everything you love about this book. Now let's sing the parts of the book, and you can help me. Here we go. The title's on the front. The title's on the front. Hi-ho, biblio, the title's on the front. The author writes the words. The author writes the words. Hi-ho, biblio, the author writes the words. The illustrator draws. The illustrator draws. Hi-ho, biblio, the illustrator draws. The spine binds the book. The spine binds the book. Hi-ho, biblio, the spine binds the book. Okay, now it's time to read. And now it's time to read. Hi-ho, biblio, and now it's time to read. Are you ready to read the title with me? A house is a house for me. Can you see a word that's repeated 2 times? The same word twice? Let's see. A. A. This is a capital and this is a lowercase. Are there any other words you can see twice? Does it start with an H? House. House. So let's see if we can read the whole thing again. A house is a house for me. Remember we talked about what kind of house you live in? I wonder what are all the different kinds of houses there are. I'm thinking there's apartments and condos and tents and small, short buildings and great big tall buildings and igloos and teepees. I wonder if we'll see any of those in this book. Look at this beautiful title page. It has a picture of all the different kinds of houses we're going to talk about. It has a teepee, a castle, an egg basket. Ooh, I'm not sure what this one is. It kind of looks like 2 palm trees with a net in between. A clown in the letter of the S, and an elephant in the letter of an E. An ice cream. Ooh, this looks like that nursery rhyme, a cow jumped over the moon. Hey diddle diddle. A beehive, a dog with 2 squirrels, a pumpkin, another castle, a duck, lots of shoes with a sock. This looks like a burro and somebody riding him, a raccoon, a grocery cart, 2 people holding a book, and paints. A house is a house for me. Isn't that interesting how Mary Ann Hoberman and the illustrator Betty Frazier used all different pictures to make the letters? So look closely. A hill is a house for an ant. An ant. A hive is an house for a bee. A hole is a house for a mole or a mouse. Lots of different houses that I didn't think about. And a house is a house for me. Does anyone there have a tree house? A web is a house for a spider. A bird builds its nest in a tree. There is nothing so snug as a bug in a rug. And a house is a house for me. Oh, look, they're pretending to be in a house of a cardboard box with some puppies. A coop, that's a house for a chicken. A sty, that's a house for a sow. A fold, that's where sheep all gather to sleep. A barn, that's a house for a cow. It is also, of course, a house for a horse. Can you think of some other houses now? A kennel is a house for a dog. A house is a dog for a flea. But when a dog strays, a flea sometimes stays, and then it may move in on me. Ooh, do you think the fleas are going to land on him? Houses for rabbits are hutches. A house for a mule is a shed. A castle's a house for a duchess. And a little tiny bed bug beds down in a bed. Mosquitoes like mud holes or puddles. Whales need an ocean or sea. A fish or a snake may do with the lake. But a house is a house for me. Can you see where the little girl is? She is using this big umbrella for her house. Why, she's at the beach, so she doesn't get a lot of sun. I wonder if you can guess what that is. The crab, his shell is his house. There are lots of other sea creatures with shells for their house too. A shell is a dwelling for a shellfish, for oysters and lobsters and clams. Each snail has a shell, each turtle as well, but not any lions or lambs. No, they don't live in shells. Lions live out in the open. Monkeys live up in a tree. Hippos live down in the river. Now what do you know about me? Look at those monkeys, hippos, and down here are all the things with shells. Tortoises, snails, oysters, even frogs. An igloo's a house for an Eskimo. A teepee's a house for a Cree. And a Cree is a kind of the type of Indian. A pueblo's a house for a Hopi, and that's another type of Indian. That's the name. And a wigwam may hold a mohi. So there's Indians called Cree, Indians called Hopi, and Indians called mohi. A garage is a house for a car or a truck. A hangar's a house for a plane. Which one do you think is bigger? The garage for the car or the hangar? It's not the kind of hangar you use for clothes. It's a ginormous garage for a plane. I think this one's a lot larger than this one. A dock or a slip is a house for a ship. And a terminal's a house for a train. So a terminal is a place like a train station that you would go in to buy a train ticket. And a dock is a great big piece of wood where the boats land next to so you can get on and off the boat. A husk is a house for a corn ear. Have you ever peeled off corn husks? A pod is a place for a pea. A nutshell is a hut for a hickory nut. But what is a shelter for me? Oh, look at her shelter. She's built out of the tablecloth. Underneath the table, she's built a house for herself underneath. She has all her toys lined up and her books, and her brother are reading underneath. A glove is a house for a hand. A stocking's a house for your knee. A shoe or a boot is a house for your foot. And a house is a house for me. Look at that igloo she built. Wow, is that big? And look underneath. Do you see some creatures that have houses underneath? I see a squirrel, and I'm not sure if it's a mole or a mouse, but they look like they're underground in a tunnel. So that's another type of house. A box is a house for a tea bag. A teapot is a house for some tea. If you pour me a cup and I drink it all up, then the tea house will turn into me. So they're saying as he's drinking his tea, he's going to be the house for the tea that he drank. Cartons are houses for crackers, and castles are houses for kings. The more that I think about houses, the more things are houses for things. And if you get started in thinking, I think you will find it is true that the more that you think about houses for things, the more things are houses to you. Look at all these houses. A mitt is a house for a baseball. A drum is a house for the sound. The basket's the house for Easter eggs. The salad's a bowl for the salad. The toothpaste bottle is a house for the toothpaste. And look, the cage is a house for the hamster. Lots of different houses. Barrels are houses for pickles. And bottles are houses for jam. A pot is a spot for potatoes. A sandwich is a home for some ham. You have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The peanut butter and jelly lives in the house of the bread. The cookie jar's home to the cookies. And the bread box is home to the bread. My coat is a house for my body. My hat is a house for my head. Perhaps I have started far-fetching. Perhaps I am stretching things some. A mirror is a house for reflection. A throat is a house for a hum. But once you get started in thinking, you think and you think and you think, how pockets are houses for pennies, and a pen can be a house for ink. Your peaches are houses for peach pits, and sometimes for houses for worms. How trash cans are houses for garbage, and garbage makes houses for germs. It's a lot of garbage. Envelopes, earmuffs, and eggshells, and bathrobes and baskets and bins, and rag bags and rubbers and roasters and tablecloths, toasters, and tins. Look at all of these are houses for something. And once you get started in thinking this way, it seems that whatever you see is either a house or it lives in a house. And a house is a house for me. And there she is again inside a tent that she made. Oh, look at that wheelbarrow. What's inside? The dirt. So the wheelbarrow is a house for dirt. A book is a house for a story. A rose is a house for a smell. My head is a house for a secret I never will tell. She's whispering to her on her birthday. A flower's at home in a garden. A donkey's at home in a stall. Each creature that's known has a house of its own. And the earth is a house for us all. I hope you enjoyed that story, A House is a House for Me, by Mary Ann Hoberman, illustrated by Betty Frazier. And you can think of some more things that have houses that weren't even in the book. I hope to see you next time on Story Station. Bye-bye.